Alrighty. Okay, I'm going to record a video where we're going to look at our third and final pose for children, which is the profile pose. Just FYI, guys, a lot of what I'm doing is um, from kind of out of the way this book is showing it. This is the book I really, really like. It's one of the few books that spends more than a page on drawing children. So you'll see the proportions are here. And she also talks you through how to draw boys of different ages, girls of different ages. And it's pretty helpful. It's pretty helpful. And not only that, it's just a fabulous book. So just to give you an idea there, I did copy some of the pages and put those in the module for everybody. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a profile pose. We'll do something similar to this little girl here. And I'm going to go ahead and do it on our paper here. I'm looking at this. That's a good size, actually. For your final illustrations, I think this will be a good size. Okay, so as always, we're going to start with our plumb line. I'm going to go ahead and do it on the same page from yesterday. If you can fit it, great. If you want to do it on another paper, that is fine with me. Okay. What we're going to do is we are going to put in a head. Now, when we do a head from this perspective, hang on, let me make sure I can see this on my video screen. Okay. We're going to put that head, it's going to be pretty big because when you turn your head to the side, it is a lot kind of bigger with the brain. She's going to be looking that way, okay? Or he, I don't know yet. And I'm going to put a bit of a chin right here. Okay, now we will refine that in a little while, and I'll do a separate video to do the face. But what I want to do first to get us started is I'm actually going to draw the shoulder. And where you want to put it is even with your kid from yesterday, right? Because let's just assume this kid turned to the side. That's where our shoulder was, so that's where I'll put it here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put my shoulder right about there. Now, I'm next going to mark in where approximately kind of the bottom of the torso is about kind of that bottom of the belly, almost crotch level. We'll put that about here. And actually, I'll mark as well that we've got kind of that crotch level down here. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to draw a shape. I want you guys to watch me first and then do it after because this is a little bit hard to explain. But from the chin, okay, I'm going to draw this shape. I'm going to make a neck. And then I'm going to come down the front of the body, and I'm going to come around at about the crotch point, and then I'm going to make the butt. Okay, now this is going to look a little bit like a duck for a minute. Bear with me. Okay, and then here's the back, sort of a shoulder blade, and then around like that. Okay, that's going to give us a starting point for some sort of a torso shape. But remember, the kid turns to the side, so the heights are going to be about the same. If this is the hip height here, that's where the hip is going to come in on this kid too. All right, as I look at this, I'm thinking I want to move my shoulder, keep the same height. I'm going to move it just a little bit back. Okay, next up, I'm going to put in a leg. We know the knee is going to be right here just above 4. We know the ankle is going to be down here at about 5, and I'm going to draw in my leg. From this side view, the leg is going to be pretty straight in front, and then it actually comes in just slightly under the knee, and then straight again down to the ankle. Okay, and then for your back leg, we can give it just depends how, curvy you want your kids to be. But we definitely need to have a little bit of a shape at the back of the calf right here. So the front of the shin is straight, the calf and back has a little bit of a contour. By the way, I'm using an HB pencil for my layout. I like my 2Bs, but for most people, I would say HB is probably your go-to for this type of exercise. Now, where is my foot going to land? Let me put my ground in here, okay? And if you want a measurement, that is about, about a ½ inch below line 5. Let me number these so you guys can see them. And 0, okay. So we kind of did it here. I'm going to do it again here, but this time we're not seeing the instep, we're seeing the outside of the foot. So I'm going to put a heel, I'm going to put a ball, okay, and those are about 1 inch apart. The thing people do that will throw us off is if you make your foot too small, okay, whether it's children, whether it's adults, whatever it is. Don't make your feet too small. Don't make your hands too small. It'll look really odd. I put the suggestion of some little toes in there. I think that's perfectly sufficient for our purposes. Okay, now let me come back up here. Let's figure out what we're doing with this arm. I'm going to put an elbow just about back here, and let's put a wrist Maybe we'll put a wrist right here, okay? You can hang the arm straight down. You could have it really do whatever, but this, I'm gonna do this because I feel like it's not gonna be too hard and it's gonna give us something useful. So from the shoulder to the elbow, I'm gonna connect kind of from the armpit area back here, and on the back part as well, I'm gonna connect that. Now, there's some anatomy that needs to happen here with the shoulder blade, and without a reference photo, it's hard to kind of guess. But the good news is chances are these kids are wearing clothes when we illustrate them, so that makes it a lot easier. I'm gonna put a forearm in place, and I'm gonna put an elbow in place, okay? And the elbow and the forearm, it is definitely thicker right here compared to the wrist. There's also a little bit of anatomy with the elbow bone and all that stuff, but we won't overthink that. Okay, let me put in a hand. Okay, so here we go with the hand. Let me zoom in on this if I don't break my rig here. Okay, for the hand, let me see if I can scoot it so I can actually see what I'm drawing on the camera. Okay, all right, for the hand, I'm gonna give it the back of the hand. Okay, so it's really just kind of a rectangular shape. And then I'm gonna put kind of some fingers onto that, but notice that I'm not drawing individual fingers. I'm just blocking them, like each chunk of the hand is I'm treating as a chunk. Coming out from behind here might be a little thumb, something like that. Okay, and then once you've got your geometric shapes blocked in, you can separate them out a little bit. Okay, and even if you just give the suggestion of it, depending on how detailed you need your drawing to be, that is usually going to do the trick. Okay, so now at this stage, if you want to make your kid a little skinnier, a little thicker, whatever you want to do, I do have a habit of making them just a little bit chunky because I think it's adorable, but you guys can do whatever is, whatever you want. And then your other arm, if you want to do something with that, maybe that one is out doing something here, but you'll just measure and measure, and maybe to here for that elbow. And there is a concept called foreshortening, where if that arm is coming towards us or away from us, that it isn't that same length, it would be doing something else. But we won't overthink that in this first, beginning drawing class. I'm gonna do this on this one. I'm gonna make it look like this little guy, let me think what it would look like, has his thumb, or girl, I'm still not sure, and then maybe these are little fingers, and he's holding something, okay? Okay, that doesn't look like what I wanted it to. Let me try again. Let's give it some fingers. And then the thumb, what is the thumb doing here? Oh my gosh, you guys, I think the thumb would be going on the top like that. And then these need to look more like fingers, so that's, I think, what was going on. Okay. Again, not completely happy with that, but I'm going to let it be for now. Okay, and then maybe it's holding a balloon or whatever it is. Okay, last step here is let's just polish it up a little bit, commit to our favorite lines. At this stage, I usually have a ton of lines, and I kind of need to get myself a darker pencil, sharpen it up, and commit to my favorites. And I'll just come around and give just a hint of shading on here. If you want to erase away your drawing lines, you can. If you want to leave them, you can as well. I don't mind seeing the layout lines. I really don't. It just shows me that this was something that was like a working illustration, that you were sorting things out as you went, and I actually really enjoy seeing that when I look at people's projects and when I look at the work of professional illustrators as well. Okay, maybe a touch of shading on there, and we don't have to go crazy. I saw a couple of you guys' submissions already from yesterday, and they looked terrific, so we're definitely on the right track here. And I just want to thank you guys too. I know it's not easy when you're not right next to me to ask me questions on the fly. And considering that, I've got to say, you guys are really doing a nice job of paying attention and following, my guidelines here, and just doing your own work, but doing it really nicely. The execution has been fantastic, and I've enjoyed seeing what you submit. Okay, what I'm going to do in the next video is I'm going to do a profile face. We're going to talk about what that looks like on the profile. I want to back up just a sec. Well, no, I'll talk about faces in the next video. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next video.